All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to our podcast about digital media and evangelism. This is part 2. So in the previous podcast, part 1, we ended at the fact check idea that there are 30,000 people who have searched the keyword church online, and we as digital evangelists, or if you want to join the band of people who would rather also use technology to reach people, we will have to realize some of the strengths that we have, and we'll have to come up with ways to reach these people online. So I'd like to take us to the second part of this podcast, and I'm going to start you off with another fact check. And this is what another research that was conducted in January 2018, and this is what they said. The digital mission field is a vast mission field, and it's not restricted by any geographical location. Now, the statement goes to explain that the digital mission field, we do know that we are currently engaged as pastors in a mission field that is, say, a physical mission field. We now have a very big field, all right? That is, I would say, that is much more bigger than the field than the mission field that you are assigned to, and that is the digital mission field, because it is a vast space, and like the statement says, it is not restricted by any geographical locations. So 42% of the world's population is on social media, according to research done in 2018. And so these are the statistics that they gave, and I want you to pay close attention to this. At the time that they conducted the survey, they found out that the world's total population stood at 7.5 billion. Out of the 7.5 billion people, 4 billion were active users of the internet, 3.1 billion active social media users, 2.9 billion active mobile users and social media users. So when that was conducted, we kind of realized that there are a lot of people right now who spend time as active users of social media and the mass media. So in that statistics, we kind of realized that every inhabited continent is represented in the digital space. You may realize this lah. If the number stands as 4.0 billion people, or 4 billion people who are active internet users, and 3.1 billion who are active social media users, that's almost half of the world's population who are actually active users of social media and the internet. So while Christianity is on the decline in the West, I believe that the great awakening will be a digital one, will be the kind that reaches the digital mission field, and that responsibility lies in our generation. And this is our generation's greatest commission, to reach these unreached people. And so I'd like you to just understand a few things. And a lot of us are active mobile users, because now we all have access to a smartphone, and a lot of us are using the Android system smartphones. And so there's a couple of things that we can do to enhance or use the tools that we have in our hands as a means of passing the message of the gospel to everyone that's around us, not just physically, but in the digital space. So I'd just like to take you into a few of what you have in your phones. And a lot of us overlook these little tools or inbuilt applications that can be used to better enhance our ministry if we decide to join, or if we decide to engage in the media evangelism. So firstly, a default tool, when I say default, I mean that I'm installed. I'm stuck inside the phone yet. So we have 3 default ministry tools that you can use inside the phone. 1, the notepad. Okay. 2, voice recorder. 3, camera. So you have these 3 simple tools that can be used to enhance your digital evangelism program if you decide to take that. So firstly, if you're using a notepad, and a lot of us are using that or are doing that, you take note of your inspirations, what the Holy Spirit gives you, and what you are studying. You can take note of that, and what you can do is that when you take note of the inspirations that you have, you use the recording, the voice recorder And a lot of phones today with the Android system, Android versions of 4 to 5 to 8 to 11, 11.1 and above Android system, you have a very quality mic that you can use. So you could record your sermons, all right? You could record your sermons and pass it to our radio stations. You could record your trainings, pass it to our radio stations, and we could have an editor to edit them, and we would have a lot of contents to air for the benefit of our people. And then you also have a camera there, and something that I kind of find that is very interesting and important is that you have a camera in your hand, and what you can do is that you could use a social media platform to record a short message, maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds or 30 seconds, as a lot of media reels would prefer. So what you could do is you could come up with a short inspiration within that short period of time and then post it online, and you wouldn't know who gets to see that. Someone might be struggling and needs an advice and they couldn't find it anywhere. There's no one around. They only have their phones in front of them. So you are using the phone to share God's love and to keep reminding people that Jesus loves you. God loves you. He has a plan for you and has a purpose for you. It is important for you to be strong. Things like that. So I'm going to go further into what I mean when I say it's important to take messages 10 seconds, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, even a minute to just give them a short message, and it will encourage them. Me give some examples now. So we have a lot of social media platforms that are out there. We have Facebook, which is the most common, and Instagram, of course. We do have Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, what else? Snapchat, WhatsApp, and we have the most common one to date. Recently came into the spectrum and took control of the world, and that is TikTok. And I'd like to focus more on TikTok for a while. And this is what I want to say. So I've been using 3 social media platforms as my platform of as my mission field, I should say. I've been using Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the biggest influencer for me has been TikTok. So I've been trying my best to make sure that I'm posting contents on Facebook that are more educational and makes people think and inspirational. I don't spend too much time on Instagram. I do spend time on YouTube and TikTok, and I'd like to focus on that too, and more importantly, TikTok. So I joined YouTube in 2010. So I joined YouTube in 2010, and since then, I've never came to realize what it means or how important it is, because it wasn't that common. And digital was so expensive at the time, and B-Mobile. So I wasn't so much focused on who was viewing my YouTube videos or all the other benefits of YouTube. I was really focused more on storing my videos, because I realized that a lot of my important videos, as I was so into media, got lost with flash drives and hard drives that couldn't be retrieved. So I decided to go to YouTube to post my videos and save it there, so it becomes a storage place for me, so I can easily access them. So what happened was that as the years went by, the idea of YouTube, or say the psychology that was used, was if you see a video at that time, because I'm expensive, you kind of look at the duration of a video. So you kind of watch the duration. Every time you scroll past a video on YouTube, you look at video how much minute. If it's more than 5 minutes, a lot of people don't watch a 5-minute video. They would rather watch a 3 or 2 or less than 3-minute video. So with that in mind, when I came into the digital space of understanding our time spent on our social media platforms, I realized that YouTube, time spent on YouTube, where a lot of us would tolerate is about, say, less than 5 minutes. Any video that goes beyond that, you would rather scroll by because you know that data blue lorana. So what happened was that when TikTok came into the arena, what TikTok did was TikTok cut him down straight the time spent on watching a video from 3 minutes or less, or 5 minutes or less, down to 30 seconds. So when it came down to 30 seconds, I'm shortening him this time spent bluyumia. Lo watching one video that you can't even tolerate a 3 minutes video. You just want to scroll by. So because of that, when we were posting videos on YouTube, when I started realizing that, okay, YouTube is a platform that I can influence people with principles and values and talk about God, I came to realize that people would rather watch a 3-minute video or less than to watch a 1-hour sermon. So content creators on social media realized that TikTok came in and shortened the time duration that people spend to watch videos. So what content creators did now was that because a lot of people cannot spend 3 minutes on watching one video, because there's a lot of videos there, they decided to squeeze a 3-minute message or a 1-hour message into a 30 seconds video. And that was the challenge of all the influencers and all the content creators. They had to create videos, they had to create, contents that captured the attention of the viewers and the people who are watching in just 30 seconds to a minute. And that became a very big challenge. But as time went by, people overcome that. So I'll start making now short the message that you can save someone's life just by watching a 30 seconds video. And when that came into the picture, I realized something that we are missing as a church. Because our audience now, when you think that they are in the church, their mind are still on their phones. The moment they step out of the church, they check their phones. The moment they arrive at the house, they look through Facebook. They look through Instagram, YouTube. Because that is all that this generation can be engaged in on a daily basis. So this is the key principle that you as a digital creator, content creator, especially as a digital evangelist, should come to realize. You would not create a 1-hour sermon and expect people to sit down and watch a 1-hour sermon for you. It will not work. I created my TikTok account. So when I created my TikTok account, I decided to try it out. So I started putting out videos, short videos, 30 seconds, 5 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. I started playing around with time. So the messages that I wanted to present, I had to really trim it down to the main points and where it's applicable and where it's convincing, so that in a span of 30 seconds, that particular person can be saved. That particular person can come to understand God's love for him or for her. At that 30 seconds point, this particular person is about to, say, commit suicide, and then he watched or she watched a 30 seconds video that you just say, hey, look, life doesn't end there when there's issues and there's problems in your way. You must be able to overcome those issues, because the victory is much more sweeter when you fight the battles. So this kind of little messages that you put out there is powerful enough to make a change in someone's life. And I have proven that when I started posting videos, and when I started posting videos of short messages, 2 videos or 3 videos a week. And as I started going to the comments, I realized that I was reaching more people in 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 or 30 seconds than when I'm standing behind a pulpit. And you know what? It made me realize that we spend an hour standing behind a pulpit to preach to 300 to 400 people or less than 100 people. And at the end of the day, when we've conducted, we've preached for an hour, we may come down. The question is, how many people gets to be converted after that? Because every worship services, every Sabbath is like, it has become a norm where you just come and sit down, listen, and go back home. But the question is did you actually reach enough people at that point in time? And you know, when I realized when I started posting videos, I was reaching 2,000, 3,000 people just sharing a 30 seconds video, a 30 seconds message. I was reaching 10,000, 5,000, 6,000 people just with a 30 seconds video than when I was preaching for an hour behind a pulpit. So when you realize that, when you come to realize that, you can realize the mission field, the digital mission field is vast. And if you were to reach a lot of people where you are, even on a Sabbath, you can create contents. You can create contents and put it out there. When you come to realize that, you will realize that the audience that you are looking for in the church and you expect them to be in the church, you are not going to reach them. You're going to be reaching them where they are. And that is where I started realizing, and I started reading comments like there are people who came into my comments and said, I am so blessed. I've come across this video and I'm actually reading from some of these comments. So I'm so blessed to come across your video and listen to the wonderful message this afternoon. Thank you very much. You speak words of wisdom. God bless you. There's this other person that says, thank you very much. You just encouraged me. I was down. And there's a lot of other messages that I can read to you, but that has made me realize that while we have a physical mission field that we must reach and we are obligated to reach, we must also realize that the very people that we are trying to reach have also stepped into a different mission field, a different arena where if you are not prepared to step into these kind of arenas, if you're not prepared to step into that space, and I know that a lot of other pastors and I know a lot of conservatives who would rather not step into social media because we just want to be left away. We just don't want to be part of all this, all those developments. You're going to miss out on the fact that the very audience that you think you are reaching, you are not. They are not there. They only come to show their presence in the church. You will reach them in their bedrooms, in their homes, and you don't necessarily have to go there to reach them. You just put out a message and the algorithm will share those messages to everyone that is around, and they will receive it. So that is basically what I wanted to point out in this podcast. I'm going to just give a few tips on ways young people can better utilize these tools. And I'm not just talking to young people, but anyone who wants to step into the digital mission field. You could do a lot of things. Now, firstly, I'm going to just point out a few things that you could do as ways to better utilize digital tools for evangelism. Now, firstly, you can create a social media outreach. Secondly, you can create online devotionals and Bible studies. The third tip, you can create podcasts and vlogs like what I'm doing right now. You can also create live streams of worship services. You can create online evangelism campaigns. You can create, you can write vlogs, writings, inspirational writings. If you're good in writing, post them out there. Prayer networks, and you can also do mentorship for discipleship online with any of the digital platforms that you would prefer to use. And so these are the few things that the few tools that I've mentioned, or few tips that I've mentioned that you could utilize to better utilize the tools of digital evangelism. And so to end this second part of our digital media evangelism podcast, I'd like to just put out a note here. This is what I want us to remember. Firstly, it's important for us to maintain authenticity of our message. Secondly, respect different perspectives. We must respect different perspectives because the audience in the digital space is a bit different to the audience that you engage with in your churches. And thirdly, engage in a meaningful way. Our conversations must be with love and grace, building genuine relationships and connecting with others on a personal level. That is the key to effective online evangelism. Thank you everyone for joining me in the last two podcasts. If you have any questions and if you think that we should cover a topic that I didn't cover in line with the idea of digital evangelism, send me, write down in the comments what you think we should discuss and talk about, and I will come back to you in the next video. With that, God bless you. Remember to be genuine with your intentions when reaching people and continue to love unconditionally.